have incomplete policies which lack substantive relevant information and or contain significant gaps. Because certain things, you might develop policy in certain areas, but it's complicated. And as I keep saying, those who make policy, the policymakers, are not necessarily the practitioners. So sometimes they don't have the full range of understanding to make the policy. You also have inconsistent policies with provisions which are internally conflicting and contradictory. This happens even in the law. That's why in the study of law we have what's called conflict of law. It's a subject by itself. So in policies, you even have that. There are also informal policies emerging from customary practice without comprehensive written stipulations. That's the example perhaps in Saudi Arabia. There is just a practice that women do not drive or are not allowed to drive. A practice from customary law or customary practice. So that can be subject to inquiry because someone will say, well, why are you stopping me? Show me the law. And they won't be able to show a law or a policy. But as we observed earlier, that practice is important. Customary practice is also very important. In fact, I would argue that in many cases it has the force of law, customary practice. And then impractical policies, which although theoretically sound, are difficult or impossible to implement. Sometimes, especially when new government comes, they might have some ambitious grand plans, grand policies, but you hit the ground running, you know that it's difficult or almost impossible to do. We even know it in our own organizations when we adopt new policy or design new programs. So there's a whole area on inchoate policies. So the inner policies, we don't want them. Inchoate policies, we don't want them. Now, let's look at two more. There's what I call impromptu policies. And this observation I'm going to make, you would notice it. Advisors and political minders are always jittery when politicians make statements and speeches contemporaneously, that is without notes. You notice when these big politicians are on the go making speeches, their advisors are running around panicking, pushing paper. Why do you think they're panicking?
They're scared that they will say something that is like the policy.
Yeah, but why is that scaring the advisors? So yes, I say something that's not in the policy. Why is that a bad thing?
Well, you being an authority, when you're othering,
Yes.
it's essentially giving it life.
Yeah, the danger is what I said as the principle is in fact policy. It's impromptu policy. That's why it's dangerous. That's why these guys are panicking, the advisors. Because if I am the principal that I can make policy legally, and we will discuss later who has authority in making policy. But if let's assume I have the powers to make policy, and I'm here, the statements I make becomes policy. It's impromptu, and that happens a lot. And it is dangerous because usually it's not well thought through. And maybe we don't even have the resources. Or maybe we've promised someone else something else. All of those things.